Guys, I hope that you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday and spent it as a wholesome time with family. I did, and I didn't do a Friendsgiving party, but this is a millennial phenomenon. Millennials throw a Friendsgiving party instead of Thanksgiving so that they can spend time with all of their work friends instead of their family members,
because
and
they
then
have Republican
boycott.
dads.
Yes, yeah. Stay away from your toxic Republican parents and spend it with your other liberal millennial friends in the city. And the Friendsgiving phenomenon is also a boycott of Thanksgiving because obviously it's a colonial holiday that celebrates murder and genocide. Right?
Of course.
So this video from TikTok went viral. It's this group of millennial friends that threw a Hanksgiving. It is a version of Thanksgiving that celebrates Tom Hanks for some reason. I don't think that Tom Hanks is particularly famous among millennials, but...
Yes, he is. He's pretty famous amongst my generation.
Basically, they all dress up as Tom Hanks characters from different movies and get together and call it Hanksgiving. I would support this if this were about Chet, but the fact that it's about Tom Hanks, who is widely suspicioned to be a PDF file in Hollywood and an Epstein flight log attendee, it's gross, right?
Let's listen to this video. I'm guessing these people don't know any of that stuff anyways.
Yeah, this went absolutely insanely viral on Thanksgiving.
Call it QAnon. Here we go.
Not to brag, but I got invited to Hanksgiving. It's a party my friend throws every year where everyone dresses up as Tom Hanks. You knew that by the title. There's also pictures of Tom Hanks everywhere. This was the third annual one. Could not believe I was invited. It's kind of a pretty exclusive event, and everyone goes really full out, like 100% full out. Costumes were purchased for this event that will probably never be worn again. That is the true love of Tom Hanks. And then we all got together for a group photo. Tom Hanks, you're invited whenever.
But not Chet, right?
And then there were winners for the best dish and the best costumes. So, happy Hanksgiving.
Okay, first of all, the girl doing this voiceover sounds like she wants to die, which plays into this whole discussion that exploded from this video. The caption is...
I've changed my mind about that. I think what it is, this is a very millennial thing to do the nonchalant, I don't care voice. It's not that she wants to die. When she's doing that, she thinks she sounds super cool and detached.
Right. She just doesn't sound as elated as she
Holidays
says
are
that
for
she is.
lesser people.
The caption is, millennial humor is so empty, their relationships are empty. And a Twitter user called Scorched Earth Policy wrote a whole essay analyzing what the meaning of this was. What is this symptomatic of in society?
Give the clip notes.
Well, let me just read some excerpts. The flaccid, asexual emptiness of millennial culture is the direct result of cohabitating male and female friendships in a middle to lower class environment, which possesses none of the aristocratic eccentricities to normally justify mixing men and women together in a platonic environment. But Scorch, everyone's just vibing out. What's your problem? Let people have fun. Chill out. No. He says it's a natural fact that the men in such a friend group are either A, normal dudes quietly bored but playing nice because they're someone's boyfriend, B, beyond unbelievably pussy-whipped soft betas who haven't acknowledged unrequited feelings for one of the girls, or C, closeted or uncloseted homosexuals who have been MK Ultra'd into a sodomite lifestyle from living the real-life equivalent of a sparkling water commercial diverse friend group for over a decade.
Oddly enough, I think it was almost all sparkling water on that counter. There was no alcohol there. That was the real reason nobody was having fun.
It was a dry party. He says these people are not having fun, even though they clearly are desperate to make you believe they are having fun. And honestly, I agree with this guy. You pointed out that, you know, is this guy writing this essay happy and spending time with family on Thanksgiving?
He wrote this on Thanksgiving as well. Like, I'm imagining, is he sitting here typing this essay and his grandkids or his kids are like, Dad, Grandpa, come watch the game with us. Sorry, I'm owning the libs right now.
So this was at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. So you could say to this guy, you should be spending time with your family if you think you're so above Friendsgiving. But I don't think that pointing out societal problems necessarily means that you're unhappy, right? I agree with most of the points he made here. And his takeaway was, if you're part of one of these friend groups in millennial urbanite society, you should cut yourself off from them and engage in a more meaningful life.
Previous generations, they might have the complaint that the previous generations, if they hadn't all frivolously gotten married and then divorced so quickly, these kids wouldn't have had such complicated holiday lives to begin with, which caused them to detach.
Valid points. But also you see all of the propaganda every year about, you know, start fights with your Republican parents about Trump and about Israel and Palestine, and let politics divide your family, cut off your family if they have any political disagreements with you. And they might have bought into that philosophy. And he also said, if you're a young woman, stop wearing spandex, never watch another episode of Friends again, don't smoke weed, don't take SSRIs, don't take melatonin, don't take birth control. Gay guys aren't your friends. And if you don't have other female friends, it's because something is wrong with you. I ostensibly agree, but you're saying, what is the average millennial female going to say in reaction to this? What is there left to do other than take birth control and hang out with my gay best friends?
You're literally taking away every aspect of how many of the millennials were going to, like, when he mentions Friends, first of all, I've known people that love the show Friends that were perfectly well-adjusted people, and another thing is, like, not everyone necessarily has a home to go to for something like this. My issue is more, it's the LOL so random nature of the Hanks part of it, which screams millennial detachment and stupidity. I agree with that. And the fact that when you look at the video, ladies and gentlemen, literally everyone looks like they're being held hostage. And it doesn't look like, this doesn't, to me, look like a person who's having a ton of fun. But there's also, honestly, probably a part of the person who made this where a millennial would love and find it hilarious to make a video where everyone looks like they'd rather be somewhere else. Costume parties have been a thing for a long time. Themed parties have been a thing for a long time. I think what he's doing here is he's looking at it through such a politically housed lens that he's taking what is a little cringy but harmless and attaching a whole lot of societal importance to it where I don't think it's there.
He would say this is cringy but not harmless. He would say this is actually actively harmful because, you know, if you are attending a Friendsgiving with all of your millennial friends in the city rather than going home to your family, if it's mutually exclusive, then you are part of the problem, right? And also, they're likely doing this because they have, like, ethical objections to Thanksgiving because
that one I find
of our original sin in America.
The other thing is that, look, a lot of these, like, it's not like the parents are always innocent in these situations. I'm playing devil's advocate here, right?
I see that.
I'm playing devil's advocate here that when these relationships go bad with your family or things don't work out, it's very rarely it's very easy to paint a narrative where it's one person's fault. They were unreasonable and stupid. But at the end of the day, we as human beings tend to make our beds together when it comes to our social interaction, right? We screw things up together. One person reacts poorly and the other person doesn't handle it well. And first of all, I don't know if this actually happened was this actually on Thanksgiving Day? Who knows? Other people have Friendsgiving before Thanksgiving. We don't know if these people, I just feel like for something where there's a whole lot of information left out, it's just cringy and not necessarily the end of the West. And all of the things that he's pointing out have deeper problems that started long before these people decided to spend Thanksgiving wearing cringy Tom Hanks costumes with their friends. This is a live and let live thing for me. Like, if they're not, I would rather these people go and dress up as characters from Apollo 13 and Bridge of Spies than sit there on Instagram and post infographics about how you're celebrating a holiday on stolen land and blah, 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 blah. Right? There's 1,000 things that make this stuff cringy. And to me, it's the lame, detached, we're too good for this because we're millennials and our lives have been ruined. Therefore, we have to be sarcastic and about everything. Yeah. I hate that. I hate that type of deeply felt sarcasm that they feel that they need to attach to everything, because sincerity is bad. They're afraid of sincerity. There's nothing sincere about this either. Right. I agree with that. It doesn't feel sincere. It doesn't have any of the joy that comes from spending time with your family and loved ones. But I don't think that all of the things that he's attached to this are necessarily a result of this. I think that we screwed up this country many, many decades ago, and it's a long time coming, and now we're stuck with Hanksgiving.
None of the people at Hanksgiving, none of the people at Hanksgiving who are in their 30s are the cause of all of these societal problems. They're the symptoms of it. I think it's valid to point that out. But the guy who originally posted this clip seems like he might be one of these, ironic, detached people as well. He said, on the gay topic of Friendsgiving or Hanksgiving, about 10 years ago, I got invited to a Friendsgiving dinner, and I immediately had a visceral hatred for it. It doesn't compare to being with family and loved ones. They asked what everyone was thankful for, and when it was my turn, I couldn't help but say, I'm thankful for the Pilgrims killing the Indians so we could all be here tonight. You could hear a pin drop after that. The disgust they had was palpable. The British guy from Gossip Girl wasn't amused either. I was never invited back. Haters will say I was in the wrong and I was the a-hole, but I was testing the waters and quickly realized no one has balls anymore. Very sad.
I think he's being edgy for the sake of being edgy and then is saying that it's everybody else's fault. He should know how to read the room. And if he knows it, what it sounds to me is that he actually read the room perfectly fine and said it anyways, which does in fact make him the asshole.
Kind of, yeah.
So this is a lot of this stuff is just, I feel like it's the result of so much politicization on all sides that everyone needs to look into. And look, I did not spend Thanksgiving with my family. My family's in Minnesota, right? I did not, but I called my dad and I spent
sure.
and I talked to him.
But I'm sure if you practically had the ability to go home for Thanksgiving, you would have.
I mean, yeah, and I actually am from, maybe the example I gave earlier resonates with me because I am from that family. My parents divorced when they separated when I was 12, right? So we had separate, Thanksgivings and Christmases after a while. And I always loved seeing the family a couple of times a year. But I'm also one of those people who's I love my family. And I understand the importance of family and how much it's, as a society, a strong nuclear family is a huge part of keeping a world functioning. But I understand that will never be a 100% truth for everybody.
There are so many generational wars. Every generation wants to blame the other generation for the mess that we're in right now. Yeah. I also saw a video over the weekend of two boomer parents who were laughing and gloating about the fact that they were kicking their son out of the house and saying, I hope you have fun eating nothing but ramen noodles and Kool-Aid because you're broke. They were laughing at his financial desperation.
That's funny when you're in an age where you're going to be able to afford a house in 10 to 15 years.
Of course.
It's not funny when that's the kid's destined for that for the rest of his life.
So you can
boomers
point at,
are just as bad.
Right. You can point at the toxic boomers and you can point at the toxic millennials and you can also blame Gen Z for all of the problems. But the point is literally everyone alive right now has in one way or another been complicit in this societal degradation. Also, do we have a poll up today?
No poll.
We should do a poll asking the audience, what do you think of Hanksgiving? Is it cringe?
Oh, can I?
Or Friendsgiving in general?
We might not be able to because oh no, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Say it again now.
Is Friendsgiving cringe? Simple, yes or no. I'm sure some of you guys have attended them yourselves. I've probably done it once, maybe twice. But not at the exclusion of being with my family.
And that's the thing, I had friends that did a Christmas party every year with just friends, but they also spent Christmas Day with their families.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah, without knowing what the situation was.
Jack Posobiec also weighed in and said, we all agree that Hanksgiving was cringe, but wait till you see my St. Nicholas Cagemas party.
That's the other thing. If some conservative had a Trump-themed Thanksgiving party, people would think that was so cool. because you're sticking it to the libs. It's basically what cultural icon is okay for you to make a lame party of.
I would still think that a Trump-themed Thanksgiving is cringe.
And
I love Trump.
It really. Well, you said a Hank, a Chet Hanks one.
It would be slightly more forgivable.
It's just
if it were about Chet.
In the chat, Jacob Edler says Gen X is not blameless in this mess. Gen X gets forgotten about a lot in all of these discussions.
Oh, well, I'm sure that the video I'm referring to actually was a pair of Gen X parents, but they kind of get lumped in with the boomers. Yeah. The boomers are the grandparents at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Unfortunately, if all of these millennials took the advice of internet critics and got married and started families, left the cities, I don't think it would go well for them because of the selfishness that has been bred and indoctrinated into their generation. Like, I don't think they even have the capacity for that level of self-sacrifice anymore. And they would end up getting divorced.
If the parents of all of these kids had stayed together and not pushed away their kids, maybe we wouldn't be in this position now, or paid closer attention to the indoctrination that was going on at their schools.
Right.
You know, there's a million things to blame.
Lots of blame to share around on Thanksgiving.
And it kind of speaks to Hollywood and how they do love the idea of chosen family. We talked about that the other day because they had a list. They said all of the Friends episodes that champion the idea of chosen family. And that is, in a lot of ways, a natural response to a society that is broken and has an entire generation full of kids filled with divorced parents. It actually makes more sense to me that this is more than this being evidence of some crazy Marxist plot to destroy America. I see it more as we're reaping the rewards of all that we've sown to ourselves, all the things that we've done to ourselves.
I totally relate also because my parents are divorced and it sucks to not have a normative, healthy family environment to be in during the holidays. And it's a reminder of that.
I want these kids to make one where they're actually having fun at the party, but you know,
they all looked like they wanted to die.
Look like they wanted to die.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.